folks, there's a new motorcycle in the ADVbikeGuy garage. This arrived this week, and this video series is going to be a series on just a few modifications to this motorcycle. We'll be adding some Lone Rider fog lights to it. We'll be adding EasyCam. We'll be adding a couple of AdMore light bars on the back. More on that later. We got Denali sound bomb, navigation, Garmin XT2, the Chiggy, and generally getting this bike ready for some heavy-duty touring. So stay tuned, lots to come. So today we're looking at this rack. This is the BMW luggage rack. I do have the BMW panniers on order in black, and this is a very, very bright silver. It is quite a bit brighter than the aluminum at the front of the bike, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. So today we're going to remove it and send it for powder coating. Probably the same semi-gloss black that the rest of the bike is. So that'll be a bit of a process. This process of removing this back portion of the bike is necessary also to install the EasyCam and to install the brake lights and feed the wires and everything else. So we'll be taking off the seats. We'll be taking off this rear luggage rack, this grab bar, and doing a fair bit of disassembly on the back of the motorcycle to get this off. So there is a bracket under here that carries the seats that has to come off, and this will have to come off as well to get these off. You can see right under here that there's actually a bolt in here that holds this on that is also holding this on. So a fair bit of disassembly required to get to this. Okay, to get the seat off we need the key. He goes in here, turn, and off comes the seat. This has heated seats, so there is a connector on the back here. So we'll have to take that connector off. So with the connector off, we can take the seat off. Okay, so we've got the front and rear seat off. There are a lot of covers. And you can see here the bolts that hold on the rear rack. So we'll start on those, and we'll get this cover off, which will give us access to more storage space underneath. This is the seat, and that's the heated seat for the rear. As always, in the ADVbikeGuy garage, we'll be storing the bolts in a Ziploc bag that's labeled so we know which bolts go where. These BMW bolts, they're expensive to replace, so we don't want to lose any of those. Torques. So number 40 in Torques. And we'll start undoing these. These are pretty tight. Yeah, I think we're going to need our impact gun. There we go. That is a tight bolt. Looks like there's a bit of thread lock on it. Screw is turning. There's no damage to the screw. The bit's fitting correctly. So, but they are they're in there really tight. So kudos to BMW. All right, so the back it's a T125. Okay, so the rack is being held on. Let's take those two out by the cable for the power supply here. So trusty pillowcase, by far the best blanket for working on motorcycles. Put that in place here. Put this in here. Good. Okay, so what I have for you here is the rear luggage rack flipped upside down. This is this cord right here is actually, you can see how it's folded, and this folded part right here is zip tied to this little piece down in there. You can cut it. It's easy to cut and pull it out with a set of pliers and then have it loose. And then something we'll have to do when we reassemble it. This piece here is generally sitting, this little tab sits in this hole right here. So it kind of sits in this space in that hole. And this is a tab, and easy to undo. One thing I'll say about BMWs is they're generally pretty easy to undo. So this is the power supply for the top case. So there we go. So that's disconnected. So now this whole piece comes right off as one piece. Power supply, you can see the folded part there, and that's that. So this piece here, you can see this tab is actually twisted or something. Looks like it was just kind of jammed in there a little bit. So we'll fix that so it's in there correctly. But this is just a plastic piece, literally a plastic piece. We will be screwing a bracket to this to mount the Add More tail light on to this piece. Great. So now with that off, we are at the luggage rack. So the luggage rack is now being held by this screw, and these screws are holding the back piece on. So we'll take the back piece off next. That's this piece back here. I'm going to tell you that once I undo this screw, this piece will come right off. Is it held? Doesn't look like it's held to anything. It used to be just sitting there, and here it is off the bike. The only thing now holding the side pieces on is this front bolt right here. So we're going to do this last bolt right here, and this luggage rack comes right off. So this one has a connector, it has the power on it, and there's a connector back here, zip tied on. So it looks like we have to unscrew the power. The power is held on by 3 Torx. That off. So let's take that off. So here you can see 3 screws holding this bracket in. We'll undo that now. There's one. This motorcycle, 0 kilometers, brand new. So there it is. Unscrew that. We'll need to take this off anyways. So a little bit of persuasion, this came out. And you can see here there's another zip tie to a bracket holding that in. Or this power supply, it's not really necessary. There. Okay, so that's off now. Now this bracket, if you can see here, this bracket it's like a little plastic piece that a zip tie goes through. Now for powder coating, all of these pieces will have to be removed. Here's the luggage rack, it's off. So now this luggage rack will have to be disassembled. So you can see on the bottom here there's a screw. Screw goes in and holds this in place. It's just a small little Torx screw. And these will go for powder coating. Okay, here is the powder coated rear luggage rack. You've seen that on the previous video. I've reinstalled the drop-in mounting plates. It turned out amazingly. It looks factory. I mean, it looks perfect. So now this is the right one, and the first thing we have to do is install the connector in this area here. Okay, so the connector, it has the gasket on it that it needs, and it just slots straight in like that. And this is the mounting bracket that holds it in place. The 3 small Torx screws, we'll thread those. A little bit of Loctite might be a good idea. These screws did not originally have Loctite on them, but I'm just going to give them a little dab, just to make sure they don't come out. This is blue Loctite, so it's not the thread locking type. It is removable, just enough to make sure they don't back out on their own. So now with this in place, we can mount this luggage rack. We'll move this blanket out of the way. The cord goes underneath here, and this luggage rack mounts just like that. And you can see there's these locating pins here and here to mount the luggage rack. It's tight. So I'll snug this up. That's good for that for now. Okay, so now we need to do the other side. When reinstalling the top rack, there are 6 large bolts in the shown locations. The following torque values are for North American motorcycles. I strongly suggest you check with your dealer in your local country to confirm these values. This is the powder-coated luggage. Left-hand side rack. Again, you can see the finish. This mirrors the BMW finish. Totally works with the motorcycle. So this concludes this episode on the rear rack removal, powder coating, and reinstallation. You're seeing this on the motorcycle at the end of a long installation of a lot of stuff. That's to come. Please stay tuned. We install a Jivvy rack. We install a EasyCan, a Denali sound bomb, Lone Rider lights, a navigation system, a Chiggy, and we also install a camera system. So stay tuned. There's lots to see on this series on the GS R1300 Adventure episode. Hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.